Caught in a rebound? Watch this before you get hurt again. You just got out of something, and now, somehow you're in something else. Maybe it happened fast, maybe it felt like a relief. Maybe for the first time in a while you felt seen, wanted, safe. But lately, you've started to wonder, is this real? Or am I just trying not to feel the pain I left behind? Because as much as you want to believe this new connection is the beginning of something honest, there's a part of you that quietly knows. You might be moving too fast. You might still be grieving someone else. And you might be using this new relationship to fill a space that only healing was meant to touch. If any of that hits close to home, keep watching. Because in this video, we're going to talk about what really happens when you're caught in a rebound, how to recognize it, how to stop it from hurting you, and what to do if you're already in one. Before it breaks you all over again, let's get honest. The truth about why rebounds feel so good at first, let's be real. Rebounds don't start out feeling fake. They start out feeling amazing. You feel lighter, excited, distracted from the ache that's been living in your chest since the breakup. You start texting again, you're getting compliments, you're smiling, maybe even laughing, and you start thinking, wow, maybe I'm fine. Maybe I didn't care as much as I thought I did, maybe this was exactly what I needed. But here's the truth most people don't realize until much later. Rebounds feel good because they give you a break from your pain, not because they fix it. It's not necessarily the person that feels right. It's the relief. Relief from the loneliness, from the silence, from the overthinking, from waking up and remembering they're not coming back. And when someone new shows up at the exact moment you're most vulnerable, that attention feels like oxygen. You're not over your ex, but this new person makes you feel something, and anything is better than the nothing you were drowning in. But here's the danger. What starts as relief can quickly turn into a mask. Because the more this new relationship pulls you forward, the less time you're spending actually facing what you walked away from. You skip the grief, you skip the lessons, you skip the questions that hurt, and the answers that heal. And for a while, it works. Until it doesn't. 7 red flags you're caught in a rebound without realizing it. You might not have planned for this to be a rebound. In fact, you probably thought, this time I'm just going with the flow. Or maybe, it feels right. So why question it? But rebounds don't always start with bad intentions. They often start with unhealed ones. Here are 7 subtle but powerful red flags that you might be in a rebound without even realizing it. 1. You moved on fast. Really fast. If you went from heartbreak to talking to someone within days or weeks, that's not always love. That's likely emotional whiplash. Speed isn't connection. It's often a sign you were trying to outrun the pain, not process it. 2. You can't stop thinking about your ex. You're with someone new, but they're still in your head. Their name still makes your stomach twist. You wonder if they've moved on. You secretly compare. If your past still lives rent-free in your mind, you're not present, and you're not ready. 3. It feels intense, but unstable. The highs are high. The attention is constant. But deep down, something feels shaky. There's no calm, no emotional depth, just a lot of movement, and not much meaning. Intensity isn't intimacy. It can be chaos disguised as chemistry. 4. You're trying to prove something. You keep thinking, I'll show them I've moved on. Whether it's to your ex, your friends, or even to yourself, if the relationship is about proving, not feeling, that's a red flag. Because love isn't a competition, and healing isn't a performance. 5. You feel relief, not real connection. Be honest, does this relationship make you feel deeply understood, or just not alone? Relief is temporary. Connection is honest, vulnerable, sometimes even uncomfortable. If it's just comfort, it won't last. 6. You're not emotionally available, but you're physically present. You're going through the motions, you text back, you hang out, you show up, but you're not in it. And if you're not emotionally invested, no matter how fun it feels, someone's going to get hurt. Either them or you. 7. You're afraid to be alone. This is the deepest one, because if the thought of being by yourself makes you panic, that's not love. That's fear, and fear makes us cling to what's available, not what's aligned. Being with someone out of loneliness might make the silence go away, but it can also steal the space you actually need to heal. At first, it felt electric. They were always texting, everything felt new. Maybe you even thought, this is what I've been waiting for. But now, something feels off. Not bad, not dramatic, just quieter, less exciting, less connected. Like the emotional energy that was fueling it has started to fade. And this is what happens in most rebound relationships. The honeymoon phase ends, and the truth starts to surface. You realize you barely know this person. The emotional depth isn't there. The fun is fading, but the pain you tried to escape, it's still right there under the surface. The things that once distracted you from your ex are now just background noise. And in the quiet, everything you didn't want to feel starts creeping back in. That's when the confusion kicks in. You ask yourself, why doesn't this feel good anymore? Am I broken? Or is this just not real? And the scariest part, you might not feel safe enough to talk about it, because you don't want to hurt them. But staying silent, it's hurting you. The emotional cost of staying in a rebound too long. Here's the part no one talks about. Even if the rebound starts as a comfort, staying in it too long can quietly break you, because the longer you stay, the more disconnected you feel from yourself. You start pretending. You avoid hard conversations. You downplay your gut feeling that this isn't working. And eventually you're not just avoiding pain, you're adding to it. You feel guilty for leading someone on. You feel stuck between honesty and obligation. And worst of all, you feel like you've lost time you could have spent actually healing. What began as relief slowly becomes a cage. You're not in love. You're in limbo. How to know if it's real, or if you're just avoiding pain? Let's slow this down for a second. Because maybe you're wondering, what if this isn't a rebound? What if it's actually something real? That's a fair question. And the truth is, not every relationship that happens after a breakup is automatically a rebound. But if you really want to know the difference, you have to be willing to ask yourself the hard questions. Ask yourself, am I here because I feel peace, or because I needed relief? If this person wasn't in my life right now, would I feel okay alone? Or does their presence help me avoid everything I don't want to feel? Do I feel seen and understood, or just wanted? There's a difference. Being wanted strokes the ego, being understood touches the soul. Do I feel safe to be honest, or am I afraid to shake the illusion? If you feel pressure to keep things going just so they don't fall apart, that's not connection, that's fear. Real relationships grow slowly. They're rooted in clarity, not urgency. And most importantly, they give you space to be exactly where you are emotionally, without pretending. If that's what you have, beautiful. But if not, it might be time to ask if you're staying because it's real, or because it hurts less than being alone. What to do if you're already in one. So maybe you're sitting there thinking, okay, this might actually be a rebound. I didn't mean for it to happen this way, but I think I'm in something I'm not emotionally ready for. And now you're not sure what to do with that truth. Let me say this first, and I need you to hear it fully. You are not a bad person. You're not selfish. You're not broken. You're not unlovable for landing in something messy while trying to feel better. You were just trying to cope, to feel alive again, to stop hurting. And there's no shame in that. But now, you're aware. And awareness is where everything starts to shift. So, what do you actually do from here? 1. Pause the performance. Stop pretending you're okay if you're not. You don't need to fake connection. You don't need to force chemistry. You don't need to keep going just because it's easier than being alone. Take a breath. Take a beat. You're allowed to not have it all figured out right now. 2. Get honest with yourself. Ask the uncomfortable questions. Am I emotionally available for this person? Do I actually want to get to know them? Or do I just not want to be alone? Am I showing up fully, or just staying so I don't fall apart? You don't need to answer all of this at once, but you do need to start being honest with yourself. Because truth leads to clarity, and clarity leads to peace. 3. You don't have to end it overnight. This isn't about making a dramatic exit tomorrow. It's about getting real with where you are emotionally. If you care about the person you're seeing, you can still treat them with kindness while also recognizing that you might not be ready for what you've created. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for them and for yourself, is pause, reflect, and gently create space to figure out what's real. 4. Start feeling what you tried to avoid. This is the hardest part, and also the most healing. If you use this new relationship as a way to numb the pain of your past one, the only way forward now is through. You have to grieve. You have to sit in the stillness. You have to let the tears fall, the questions surface, the memories hurt a little, and eventually hurt less. This part isn't pretty, but it's where you finally stop pretending and start healing. 5. You don't owe anyone a perfect story, just an honest one. People might not understand. You may feel guilt or embarrassment or like you messed up. But here's the truth. You're human. You're doing your best. And now that you see the pattern, you're choosing to do better. That's what healing looks like. It's not linear. It's not clean. But it's yours. You don't have to blow up your life to come back to yourself. You just have to be willing to get honest. And stop outsourcing your healing to someone who was never meant to carry that weight for you. You started this because you needed comfort. You'll finish this when you're ready to choose growth, and that moment it starts now. Starts. Closing message. If you're still here right now, that means you're ready, not just to hear the truth, but to face it. And that takes courage, because this isn't a video about judgment. It's not about guilt. It's about finally stopping the cycle of numbing your pain with something that only delays your peace. So if you've realized you might be caught in a rebound, you're not broken, you're not too far gone. You're not weak for trying to feel something after someone you loved left a hole in your chest. You're human. And this moment, this honest moment, could be the beginning of your actual healing. Not the quick kind, not the fake smile, keep moving kind. The deep, honest, finally breathe again kind. So here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below. Just say, I choose clarity if this hit home. You don't have to explain everything. Just let it be a moment where you claim something better for yourself. And if you want more content that cuts through the noise, more truth, more clarity, more healing that doesn't come wrapped in cliches, subscribe and join this community. You've made it this far. That means you're already healing, whether you feel it yet or not. And I promise you, the version of you on the other side of this, they're stronger, softer, wiser, and they love from a place of wholeness, not wounds. This was just a chapter. Let's turn the page.